And we are back for another Friday, another episode of The Good, the Mad, the Ugly. Hello, everybody out there on the internet. I am your host, Spencer McCooley. You might know me as Mad. You might also know me as the editor of Bounding Into Comics. Either way, I'd like to welcome you to the show. What we do here is we break down, we tackle some topics that we might not hear otherwise about in the sphere. So, anime, video games, tokusatsu, all that fun stuff. If you've been here, you know the deal. If this is your first time, welcome. Either way, everybody, happy, what am I trying to say here? Merry Christmas, happy holidays. This is our first show back since the holiday, so I'm super stoked to talk to all of you. I hope you guys had a fantastic Christmas. I know for some reason this year, I know a lot of my friends have been complaining like, I didn't feel very merry. I didn't really feel the holiday spirit this season. And I get that, and it sucks because I've definitely had those years where it doesn't feel holly jolly at all. But luckily for me, this year, I don't know, things felt pretty holly jolly. I had a pretty good Christmas, got to see my family, got to see my niece, got some pretty cool presents. Look, this is the newest addition to my arsenal, the OO shirt, courtesy of my mom. It was pretty nice, right? And yes, we are still, in case you saw it coming through the green on the OO symbol because of my green screen, we are still on the holiday background because, guys, I'm not ready to say goodbye to the jingle bells, to the season yet. I know we have, 2 days left until life kicks back into normal and it's January and there's no more excuses of holidays are coming or, I can put that off till then. 2 days from now, it's buckle down time for all of us. So let's enjoy the little time we have left, the last holiday we have coming up of the year, and let's enjoy our time here together tonight. Before we get started, as always, I want to shout out everybody who's in the chat. Obviously, we have our boy Dante Erics. Yo, what is going on? Rock on, buddy. Zero Dozer. Yo, here we go. Yes, we have a lot to talk about tonight. Obviously, the main topic, let me restart this. Yes, here we go. We have a very big show tonight. Obviously, it is the end of the year, so we are going to do a bit of a end of the year wrap-up. It's also been a sort of slow week, so there's not a lot of big stories to sort of cover. There's not a lot of giant drama out there, unless you're a Doctor Who fan, because with the Christmas special release and all that fun stuff, the series is just continually going downhill, which is unfortunate because Doctor Who was pretty cool back in the day, right? Lots of people liked it. I know one of my ex-girlfriends was a super huge fan of it, and my heart goes out to you, Whovians, because obviously I've watched Marvel disappear into nothingness. I've watched Star Wars disappear into nothingness. I've watched Halo. Halo is like that. You know how there's some people in the sphere who it's like, John is your Lord of the Rings. Like John Trent, he's your Lord of the Rings guy. That's Lord of the Rings. Open airlock policy, OG Star Wars, those are Star Wars. Like, them. That's how I felt like when it came to Halo. Like, I've read all the books. I knew all the lore. I've watched all the shit. I've watched all of Red versus Blue. I've read all the novels, comics, yada, yada, yada. I have an edition somewhere where they made a Halo graphic novel back in like 2005, 2006. And I was lucky enough to get a copy at that year's San Diego Comic-Con. Like, that was right when it released. And then I got to go to a panel signing thing with like the Halo dev team where they talked about like what the plans were coming up, yada, yada. So I got like, there's all these signatures on the inside cover of my Halo graphic novel. And it's so sick. But unfortunately, so yeah, we all know what happened there with Paramount series. So no surprise, right? Like, all that to say, I'm here for you, Whovians. I'm here if you need a shoulder to cry on. We all are. We've all seen it happen. We've also got, dude, a trillion billion. What's going on, bud? What's going on, buddy? Always a pleasure to see you, Mr. Burgos. Like, literally, I always light up when I see your name. Oh, boo, Jacob, boo. Now he's giving me my own medicine. I actually kind of love that. And then, yes, John Halo, our man who went from being badass John Halo, doesn't afraid of anything, to John Halo, the chosen one who has sex with Covenant ladies while Cortana watches. I'm still not over that first season of Halo because I genuinely don't know what happened there. It's like one of the best examples, the most pure examples of like, this is what happens when Hollywood goes completely off the rails. So I'm not even pure examples. Like, I can't believe I wrote the article a couple weeks ago, but like season 2 is still on track. Like, I know they greenlit it when season 1 dropped, but there's no way the reception was there, right? There's no way it warranted a season 2. So it's just what is it like? Hollywood studios need to learn not to count their chickens when they hatch, and unfortunately, that's all they do every single time. How many times have you read recently? And I know I've seen it a lot. Uh, Hold on, I forgot that I didn't make a tweet blasting this out. So I got to send one now. But like, how many times have you seen an announcement where it's like, oh, season one of, I don't know, Society Reviews is in production now, and then like a week later you get greenlit season 2 and 3 of Society, and it's like, how, why? We haven't even seen anything yet. The hype isn't there. The best example I can think of that level of hubris is there is an animated show on Fox, NBC. I don't know what network it's on. I think it just came out. If it isn't about to, but it's called Crapopolis. It's by Dan Harmon, you know, like Rick and Morty Community guy, and it looks just like another Rick and Morty. Like it's his kind of writing, right? But before that show even aired a single episode, it was greenlit for like 2 extra seasons, so like a full season 3. And it's like, who, like, are you really that confident in betting on this? This isn't like an established IP. Dan Hart, you know, we talk about this all the time. Very rarely nowadays are there creator names or even actor names that will pull people into a project, right? Like there are no more movie stars. There are very few auteur directors. And none of that is here for Halo. Or what am I trying to say? I don't even know what I'm trying to say here. I'm just in complete bafflement. Or like with Crapopolis, right? Like, is Dan Harmon really that big of a pull that you can risk 3 more seasons on him? Especially when the tides against Rick and Morty are sort of like, that craze is over. That craze is already peaked. Fans are already gone, or like not gone. Obviously, it's still got a fan base, but you know, it's not the cultural touchstone it was 4 or 5 years ago, and it's just so weird to me because I feel like all these, it's all trend writing, right? Like this is the problem with the development pipeline is executive one or researcher field intern one finds idea on Twitter, right? Or finds social media, like something on social media that people are talking about. Maybe it's like, let's take Crapopolis for example. Oh yeah, everybody's really loving Rick and Morty. It's getting coverage. Maybe we should, you know, get our own Dan Harmon animated show. And it's like, okay, if you had the capabilities of producing it in a month, sure, that might work. But the problem is it's a long process. It's so, you know, they go, oh, let's get our own Rick and Morty. Problem is, by the time that comes out, that's like 3 or 4 years down the line. Times have changed, or like people's tastes have changed, attitudes towards the show have changed. If it, you know, sometimes I don't have a real big opinion on the Justin Roiland like legal battle because it seems like it was a lot of he said she said drama, but obviously the text to like underage fans was a really bad thing. But all that to say, you know, what happens if an actor or one of your stars or something screws up? There goes your entire, and you know, now people are tuning out. There goes your entire investment in that thing. Look at Marvel, right? Like they banked hard on Majors, and then he screwed up, and now they have to rewrite everything. And it's kind of crazy too, because like I've seen this debate come up a lot, right? Where people are like, oh yeah, of course, like why wouldn't they bet on Jonathan Majors? They were building. Holy shit, I was muted? When did I have I been muted this entire time? That's super weird. I think OBS did that itself. That is bizarre. Okay, I don't even know where it dropped off like that. But that's super bizarre. Holy crap. Was it on my Steam Deck? No, I don't know. No. Yeah, probably. I have no idea how far back chat is. The chat should only be delayed by a minute. You guys will catch up soon. But what I was saying, okay, good. It was only 20 seconds. Thank God. It wasn't long. Yeah, that was super weird. It literally just like clicked over and I saw your guys' chats and you're like muted. But so like with Thanos, right? They introduced him in Infinity War or in like Avengers, Guardians, blah, blah, blah. He was a CG model, so there wasn't an actor attached to him, and he didn't really have a presence yet. Like, he had 3 lines, you know, the I'll do it myself, blah, blah, blah. And then we didn't get Thanos. We didn't even get a casting for him until Infinity War went into production, right? So that gave them time to be able to like mold around him. You know, we easily could have done the same thing with Kang, considering he's got an armored like mask metal helmet. We could have had, you know, build Kang up in the background the entire time, and then it, you know, in Kang Dynasty, right? Avengers 5, that's when you reveal him, and that's when you can pick your actor instead of going, oh man, we've got to bank on you for a long time, right? Because it's just, I understand what these companies are trying to do. They're trying to, you know, secure their market share. They're trying to secure their presence. They're blah, 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 blah. But it just doesn't work. And they're always left chasing trends. And so we end up in this place where we have Halo Season 2, Crapopolis Season 3, Rick and Morty Season, like, 12, whatever the hell they're on. And nobody's really asking for these shows. And that's why I just want, like, you need one intern who's on social media who's like, okay, guys, like, who can be like, hey, the tides are changing right now. We need to, like, make, you know, what we are doing isn't going to work, like, anymore. We need to make changes. Because otherwise, you get something that's super dated, and you can tell. And nobody likes anything that's super dated. Because we all know, like, oh my gosh, that's such an obvious swing. That's so boring. Blah, blah, blah. It's all dumb. First off, yes, hello, Shinkai. What's up, buddy? Nice to see you. Zero says, the hype isn't there, the wasted money is. That's what I mean. Like, there has to be some, and I don't know the industry well enough. Like, maybe somebody like Jacob or Pro or Culture Casino might be able to, like, illuminate me when I get a chance to talk to them. But it seems to me like, isn't there some sort of, like, tax break thing you get for canceling projects in general? Because, like, I know they got it for, like, Batgirl and the Scooby-Doo and Crypto. Like, I know that happens with movies. I don't know if that happens with TV, but I sort of have to think that at some point, we talk about this, or, like, I talk about this all the time. A lot of us around the sphere talk about this all the time. But the one thing these brands, these companies fail to realize is that their image, their whatchamacallit, their, like, reputation is so important to them, because there are a million companies out there that can do everything you're producing, right? Like, there are a million movie studios, well, not for long, a bunch of game studios, yada, yada, yada. There are things for people to pick from. So if you're not offering the thing that people want, if you're not offering the quality thing, why would people want to come to your service? So you're losing out on that, and then I just feel like you're losing more and more money. When your brand gets damaged, it makes people go, oh, I remember how crappy that Halo show was. I don't really want to watch, you know, I don't want to play another Halo game by the same people who were behind that, because it's Kiki Wolfkill, 343's Industries, like, producer. She is the executive producer for the Halo show, so, like, they're attached. And like, if that's what we're getting from the studio who was entrusted with Halo, we're never going to get anything on the level of Reach Reach 3, 2, 1, Halo Wars, all the books, all that stuff, because it's clear they don't care anymore. Like, one of the craziest things I always think about with Halo is that according to Wolfkill, when they were going into production on the show, they had an entire, like, meeting where they brought in everybody, and they're like, all right, let's teach you Halo. Here's a Halo master course. And they, you know, told them all about the world, yada, yada, yada. And then they sort of just went like, all right, do whatever you want. And then it's sort of like, how did they miss the point so bad? Why are there no checks on here? Like, somebody needs to... we need editors, damn it. Zero says, that's not Master Chief. That's Girl Boss Cortana writing Master Chief's corpse. Oh, yeah, in the show now, right? Because Chief died or something, and he's in that weird, like, Limbo on a Halo. Like, it's all so stupid. And I've always hated the idea of Chief being a chosen one, which is what they made him in 4. Like, I always like the idea of, like, it's a desperate war, right? Like, humanity's getting creamed by aliens, so they make these desperate super soldiers, and these are our only hopes against things. And it's not him specifically who is like the hero, it's all of them. He's just the one who happens to be in the right place at the right time. And to turn him into, like, they did it in 4 where they were like, your genes have been coded like specially, and then they did it in the show, and it just ruins what Halo is. Halo isn't it's not not Dune, it's not Star Wars, which is kind of what they're trying to turn it into, and it completely misses the ball. It sucks so bad. I am not excited for that show. I'm going to watch it because I know it's going to be terrible. And one, I owe everybody here on the channel, like on my channel, The Good, the Mad, the Ugly, Kabuto Studios. Obviously, I owe you guys a dissection of it. Like, that'll be an episode. We're definitely going to go through it. But I also owe it to the readers of Bounding Into Comics, right? Like, unfortunately, like, that's one of the crappiest parts about, like, our job. And I know Jacob knows this because he's definitely in the same sphere. Well, obviously, he works for the same site as I do, but I also mean, like, on his own endeavors, is that to properly be able to discuss everything and attack everything in the right way, in a way that is genuine and can be taken seriously, you have to engage with whatever you're criticizing, right? So that means throughout the year, I've seen, and this is sort of relevant because I was trying to go through my, like, list of movies I had seen like throughout the year. I end up watching or playing or reading just absolute garbage because I have, and it sucks because, like, I want to spend the time to go play fun things and good things and read good stories, but unfortunately, that's the way the cookie crumbles, right? I have no better, like, turn of phrase for it, but that's where we're stuck. And it is what it is. We can get a few laughs out of it, right? Like, sure, why not? And I will admit, the production values on Halo are really good. So when the visuals are visualing, it looks pretty entertaining. So when you get those fight scenes with Chief, I'm not gonna lie, they look pretty good because they're pretty accurate to the show or to the games. It's everything else after that. Master Chief making jokes, having sex, another chosen one being your typical rebellious teenage girl. Like, it's all so generic, and it's not what Halo should have been. But yes, that is what I guess is coming in 2023. Like, let's. I'm going to throw a question out to you guys, and you guys can answer it throughout the night and probably when we get more into the proper discussion. But what are you guys looking forward to in 2023? Is there anything? Are there any games, movies, comics, manga, toys, like, just anything? Like, because, like, that's always sort of what I try to reinforce with, or not reinforce, but, like, encourage everybody to remember is that as much as everything we love sucks, we also have to do a good job of highlighting what we really like so that people know, oh, let's make more of that. And we can also turn our friends and everything onto different movies. Like Jacob, when he has a good movie, those are reviews I take seriously because I know, one, that he's a serious reviewer. I read his reviews. But two, I also know that when he praises a movie, it's going to be of genuine, deserving praise, right? It's not going to be it's not Blue Beetle. It's not Shazam! Fury of the Gods. It's not Aquaman 2. Those aren't his favorite movies in the world. He picks genuine good movies. For more on that, go to Bounding Into Comics. Check out his top list. Like, there are some really good movies on there. We went over it on Wednesday on the 01 stream. And I know the movie, what is it? The Chinese movie, I think, Jacob, where it's like Take No Bets or No Time to Bet or something. It's a gambling movie with a bunch of twists and turns. Jacob was talking about it. I'm like, oh, I need that in my veins immediately. So yeah, there are good things coming. I'm sure all of us will have something that we remember. I mean, it's hard for me to think right now because, like, I know there's no big video games on the horizon. We don't have any, like, Mega Mans coming out. We don't have any Zeldas. We got one this year. I haven't heard any, like, good fighting update. Like, there's just nothing I know yet. Obviously, throughout the year, things will be announced, things will come out, yada, yada, yada. But just, like, right now, there isn't anything I can really think of that I'm stoked about. I mean, obviously, I'm stoked on the, yeah, No More Bets. That's what it was. Thanks, Jacob. Yeah, I have it already. It's probably what I'm going to watch tonight, like, when I'm all done with work and everything. So I'm excited for that. But yeah, like, highlight the things you love because we got, otherwise people are, if you complain all the time but you don't give a solution, nobody's going to be like take you seriously. But if we go, hey, these are good movies and these ones are crap, then people will go, give them more Godzilla -1s, give them more Oppenheimers, give them more oh my gosh, why am I blinking? The other Korean movie I like that he recommended, the one about the like, there's like it's like a half Filipino, half Korean boxer who learns that like his dad was a millionaire, but he had like abandoned his family, but then the kid gets a letter. It's like, oh, come to Korea to inherit his fortune. But when he gets there, he basically finds out he's the target of a bunch of assassins, and it's sort of like Smoking Aces, The Child. Yeah, that's what it is. That one's really good. I liked that one a lot. So check that noise out. But to the first topic of the night, let's get into. This is probably, well, it's like our main topic, because again, it's been a rather slow news week because everybody is enjoying the holiday cheer, they're all sleeping, yada yada yada. But I think this is something important to talk about. I know we did talk about it. If you were on the 01 stream on Wednesday, we talked about it a little bit with Cider, our boy Cider. Always shout out to him. But let me make it all presentable. Oh no. All right. So this is, and this relates to what I was just saying, because this is what my main focus is for 2023. So, oh man, look at that. The site's doing we had fixed the bar. I swear to God, we had fixed that bar from moving everywhere. And I guess we must have updated something and it broke it again. But regardless, you can check out the full article on Bounding into Comics. But the gist of the situation is, so last week, there is a manga series called The Ancient Magus' Bride. And it announced that it was going to be using, in service of combating piracy, because, in the world of like translation piracy, and this also applies for, like Western comics going east and everything, it's really easy for pirates and people who pirate those to get the copies for free and easy, because fan translators, chapter releases, fan translators are on it like that. It's online for free the next day to read. You don't have to wait 2 months, 3 months for the tankobon to eventually release in your language. Like I said, whatever Marvel comic comes out, a fan translator can get on it like that. Finally, or not, we'll see. We'll see. Zero. There might be some hope in all this. We'll get into it. But yeah. So yeah, like if it's a Marvel comic going out east, it takes like 3 months to translate it, print out the trade paperback, get it to your readers, yada yada yada. It obviously takes time, so it leaves this big piracy window. So in order to combat that, the Ancient Magus' Bride, which is currently published by a company called Bushi Roadworks, announced that they would be using a combination of AI, machine translation technology, and the technology they'll be using is developed by this company called Mantra Co. Like, it's a Japanese company, and apparently this engine that they'll be using is specifically trained for manga and webtoons. So it probably, it understands context of comics a little bit more, yada, 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 yada. Interesting, right? But it's not just AI that they're using alone. They're also going to be using human editors to sort of give it a look over before it goes out, and then give it a thumbs up, and we're all good to go. So when that news broke, and so at the top here, let's take a pause real quick. So my opinion on this entire situation is, it sort of makes sense, right? Like I like at the top, let's make it clear. I think everybody here may know, and if you're new here, you don't. I do not like AI. I don't like the use of AI at all, because to me, it removes the human element from art. And what is art without the human element? It also is a giant theft factory, because if you have your own model, if you have your own AI model and you train it on your own things, that's different. That's fine. That's how you are using the technology to help draft things or whatever, right? But most of the models out there are trained off of public works, off of Google image search, off of DeviantArt. So when you say something like, draw me Android 18 in a sexy swimsuit, it's pulling from people like Echo Saver or oh my gosh, why am I blanking? Like Fun Sexy DB, like all these people that have made art, and they're giving you, it's not their art, it's a weird mashup blob. So it's technically, it's such a wonky, I don't like it. I don't like its application in creative endeavors at all. Obviously, John Trent is the one who actually convinced me of this, is that at the end of the day, it is a tool, and there are ways for the tools to be used ethically and without hurting like artists, and then there are ways that it can be abused, and those are the ways we see where it's like, I don't think anybody is really going to be opposed to having an AI, filter, you know, like your Spotify algorithms, right? Those are already basic AI type things where they learn what you're doing and they spit back. Machine learning is the better term. I know if Cider was here, he would totally get on me about that. But so like that's like in that sense, an AI it can be helpful. I've also seen applications of it in video game. Like so, there's this game called like Rivals or something, right? It's made by the old EA Dice team who made Battlefield, and it plays very much like Battlefield. But one of the game setting is that it's a battle royale like television tournament, so you have announcers like casting everything while you're playing to the fictional crowds. And in that game, they worked with real voice actors to record a bunch of lines, but they also use AI to insert like contextual lines, which I find really interesting. So as the game is evolving, if you happen to headshot someone and then spin around really quick and get them behind like a corner, the AI will be like, oh my gosh, did you see Zero? That was a good spin shot around the corner store to get that kill. Like, it doesn't sound perfect, but it's very interesting. And that's like sort of how I think AI should be kind of used. You work with the creators, you pay them, blah, 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 blah. But so when we come to AI translation, now there's a quote from Gaben that I brought up on Wednesday again. Gabe Newell, founder of Steam, Valve, blah, 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 blah. He basically says that when people attack piracy, when you go to attack piracy, that's you're doing the wrong thing, because piracy is an issue of service, right? If you can provide a better service than the pirates, then people will more often than not go to your service or your streaming platform, whatever it is. Obviously, there are exceptions. People like me will always, do their best to dodge around paying $10 extra for something. But on the whole, I know this from among like my family and friends. Even when I tell them like, oh hey, that game, I have it up for you can download it off my server. Oh hey, on my Plex server, you can totally watch that movie. They will, they'll opt for the thing that's easier, even if it costs, even if they have to rent it or they have to pay a little bit more money just because of that service. Now, in the realm of manga translations and this kind of stuff, I think that that quote by Gabe, that view is exactly where we are, what is happening, which is the service we're getting from official translators fucking sucks. Like, there's no ifs, ands about it, right? We know that there are a million different examples of translators throwing in weird, funny jokes, weird inside memes, weird, like, swings at their ideological opponents. They're everywhere. Obviously, I don't have all of them pulled up on hand, but off the top of my head, like, one of the ones that's most notorious to me is Skies of Arcadia, the video game. That localization is almost completely different from its original release because people wanted to screw around with the script, thought that they knew better than the original creators. And keep in mind, this is way before culture war, all this kind of stuff, right? So when I say like a bad translation, I don't mean patriarchy, yada yada. I mean like they turned it into like an 80s Hanna-Barbera cartoon. And to that point, it's more of a reflection on the poor quality of everything than it is the actual content itself, if that makes any sense. But because we are getting such a bad service from the official sources, and I'm going to make a quick aside because I see this argument raised so often and it pisses me off beyond fucking everything. And guys, I do apologize. I'm probably going to get a little heated and some swears are going to slip out. I know that I try to keep things a little more family friendly just for, you don't need to swear all the time. Not everybody needs that sailor stuff. But, so I apologize, but I'm going to get really heated about this. Zero says, this kind of killed my itch to play Skies of Arcadia. Again, like, It is still a fantastic game. I think there are fan patches out there, Zero, that you can find that will patch the original into like a more accurate translation. But it is to the what it. I raise it to prove a point about how like these translators are not doing a good job. It doesn't matter if it's, you know, if the translation works or it's acceptable or nobody noticed. At the end of the day, they're not doing the job they're paid for. And that brings me to what I prefaced with my swearing warning. So I see this argument being raised a lot in do I want to yeah, fuck it, whatever, we're just rolling with it. It's stream of consciousness. Welcome to my twisted mind, right? So I see a lot of localizers raising this idea that, oh, if you like, there are two main points they have, which is one, oh, if you wanted to know the original product so well, learn Japanese. This is on you. You can't get mad at us if you're not willing to put in the work. And two, their other excuse is, well, sometimes Westerners don't like these kind of jokes. We have to be, we have to check out their sensibilities. There is a tweet, I know Nerdigans replied to it. Our girl Nerdigan, shout out to her, bounding into comics reporter and also independent anime on her own. It was a tweet where it was basically like, I had to work really hard to remove all these sexual jokes because that's not what Western audiences like. So those 2 points piss me the fuck off because it's like, one, people, like, it's not like you can just go out and learn Japanese, right? It's not like buying a PlayStation and being able to play PlayStation games or connecting to the internet. It's such a hard skill. That's why these people come to you and go, can you please translate this for me? Because I am admitting I don't have the capabilities, I don't have the skill set to understand it. And I want to understand it. That, like, to look at them and go, you're expecting us to do this for you? How dare you? Like, fuck off. It's so arrogant. It's so condescending. It's so bullshit. Because that's what they are paying you for. I am sorry. Even if everybody in the world had access to the best Japanese tutor in existence, right? Somebody out there will be incapable of learning about it. Maybe they have a learning disorder. Maybe it just doesn't click for them. Maybe there are things out there. So what of those people? Are they just supposed to sit there while you shovel shit down their throats? And to that other point, it's like, you say, oh, we have to change this. I need to be the arbiter of what is good and what's not. No, the fuck you aren't. Like, we want to read the author's original work. Who the fuck are you to insert any of your bullshit into that author's original work? Again, Jacob hit this so great. Oh, and he's, unqualified and entitled. Jacob hit this so fucking perfectly on Wednesday, which is, you guys remember Glenn? Our hero Glenn O'Leary over at the Comic Haven, the guy who started the Cancel Pig movement and sort of shone the light on that aspect of the comic book world. One of his biggest points in that famous rant now was, these writers don't know how to write Steve Rogers or Peter Parker or whomever. They only know how to write themselves. We don't want to know, they write, what would I do if I was Captain America? No, we don't want to hear that. We want to hear, what would Captain America do if Captain America was Captain America? And Jacob brought that up, and it's like, that is exactly the same fucking thing here. These people have gotten so full of themselves that they're acting like they know better than the creator, that this is their creation, that this is their own work. Like, and I genuinely, guys, one of the most baffling fucking things that, like, I don't understand how anybody can develop this level of hubris. Any adult in the fucking world, right, everybody would understand it, when you're 5 years old and you're in kindergarten, if you're drawing a picture and you want to go present it to the class and you go, yay, I'm so excited. If somebody else took your picture, scribbled all over it, and then said, this is my picture, this is my original art, I did it better than her, like, we all know that's fucked up. We all know that's rude. We all know that doesn't help anybody. If you're on the receiving end of that, you also know that. And I know that all these cancel pig morons were on the other side of that, because that's what's happening. They're holding on and they're clenching to I got bullied once, I got made fun of once, or I had a bully in high school, I didn't have a great time in high school. They're in arrested development. They cling on to that. And instead of using it as sort of motivation to be better, to, there's that saying, the best revenge is a life well lived, right? Instead of doing that, they go out of their way to obsess about it and make everything they can into a weapon against it. It's sort of like, when you get in an argument with somebody and then later you're taking a shower, you're walking your dog, you're going to bed, and you go, "Ooh, man, wouldn't that swing have been just, damn, like I could have, like that would have been such a good burn. I totally would have gotten him back." That's how they live perpetually. Because, a normal person goes, "Oh, man, that would have been so good. Time's passed. Time's passed. Oh, well." But they go, "Oh, that would have been so good. Let's get back at them. Oh, I don't care if this infraction was 8 years ago. Like, now we're going to get back." They're grudge machines because they're just so self-centered. I don't know. It's so fucking stupid. And it enrages me to no end. So getting back to the main, like, I realize there's a bit more to the story I have to explain before all of my ranting makes sense, unless you already know. But essentially, after the Ancient Magus' Bride announced that it was going to be doing this, releasing English language simulpubs the same day as the Japanese one, so that readers can go, "Oh, I want to read it officially. I can read it through the app and give them ad revenue instead of, giving ad revenue to nobody because fan translators don't get paid, yada, yada, yada." When they announced that, Anime News Network, the Kotaku of anime, right? They ran a headline that said, "Ancient Magus Bride to replace simulpubs with AI translation." Completely left out the human element. And that caused all of the rhetoric I was sort of complaining about. As soon as the Ancient Magus' Bride announced this simulpub hybrid style, or this hybrid simulpub style, it was like all the lights got flicked on, like I said before, and the cockroaches started to scatter. Now, like, we're at the point, and I think Zero, you might have said this in response to a Bounding tweet. I'm not entirely sure. I think it came from you, and if it didn't, I apologize. But it's, for so long, these are the same people who, like, I love this. These are the same people who complain about gatekeeping, right? "Oh, don't gatekeep us out of your fandoms. Let us in. It should be for everybody." But then the second somebody calls them out for not doing their job well, they go, "Excuse me, you don't know better. We're the arbiters." It's this weird desire. I know a lot. This is going to turn off a lot of people in our sphere, but I genuinely feel like it is based in some level of anti-Japanese racism, because we've been seeing it. Like, obviously we had the big debacle earlier this year where people brought up, like, the old G4 broadcast where all they did was make fun of Asian people, where you had Adam Sessler doing like the "oh ho ho ho," like Chinese like faces, right? Then you had instances like where Luke Plinkett of Kotaku, when that site didn't get a review copy of The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, he made a tweet sharing a picture of an American bomber from World War II with German and Japanese like kill count stamps on his plane, and he's like, "This is how I feel about Japanese block lists." And then of course there's that whole debate going over around the term JRPG, which if you guys don't know this debate, earlier in the year, YouTuber Skill Up, he's a pretty big video game YouTuber, a little mainstreamy, but he's kind of like he's like the only mainstream guy I like because he's pretty grounded. But he had an interview with Yoshi P, the director of Final Fantasy 16 and 14, and he basically asked him about, "What do you guys think about the term JRPG, yada yada?" And Yoshi P was like, "We find it degrading. It's insulting. Like, why is everybody applies it to our games to condescend at it. Oh, that's not a real RPG. That's a JRPG because it doesn't have blah, 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 blah." And in this week, I've seen that debate reignite, and I've seen people being like, "Oh no, Japanese RPGs aren't real games or RPGs because you're not creating a character. There aren't multiple branching paths to take." And it's like, that's not what an RPG meant. An RPG meant you roll your dice, you've got stats, you've got armor and weapons and equipment and things that change, and there's a story you progress along. And I just to think all these translators go, "We know better than that Japanese creator. He's disgusting. They're gross. They're behind the times. We're going to be the ones to not only let you know what you should be reading, but how you should read it." And it's fucking insane. And I don't know how else to root it other than racism, right? Because notice that this debate doesn't erupt in France. This debate isn't erupting in Germany or Spain or Mexico or anywhere in Africa or in Vietnam or in the Philippines or in Russia, right? Because those translators are doing their jobs. They're doing their best to bring that story as close as they can, because obviously it just the way the world works, you cannot do a one-to-one language translation, otherwise metaphors and imagery and stuff get left behind. But those other countries, those markets are getting pretty good translations. It's just here in America and England and like other such like Western English speaking countries that they think it's okay to give us shit versions of an original author's like idea. And I'm speaking as a creator too, right? If somebody were to take, a story I write, or even let's be more concrete, right? If somebody took an article I wrote for Bounding and said, "Oh, I don't like the way he presented these words. We're going to change this word. We're going to change this entire sentiment because this is not like our readers aren't going to like it like this." I would be fucking furious, because that's not what I wrote. You've now you're giving them a false image of me based on something that doesn't exist. And it's a negative one. Like, it's never done in the positive, right? There are instances where you get a weird translation and it can be done in earnest, right? Like, and typically this happens with humor, translating Japanese humor to American humor. Sometimes somebody will insert like knock joke, like they'll make it a knock joke, or they'll insert a reference to like Seinfeld. Things like that are weird, but they're also more innocent and understandable, right? That is more adhering to the idea of, how do I make this palpable to a Western audience? And there are innocent mistakes that happen like that. But so many of these translators are trying to say, "Oh, how dare you get mad at earnest mistakes and mistranslations? It happens all the time. You can't be perfect." When it's like, no, we have proof of people like Katrina Leonardakis, like the infamous one, bragging. They are on social media, fucking bragging every single day. "Oh, I can't wait to add this meme in. Oh man, this is gonna piss off the chuds." And how could anybody, like, if I were a creator and I all of a sudden found my work being used for culture war bullshit like this, and not as like being edited to be used in culture war bullshit, I would be furious. Again, the one I always bring up is the I turned my childhood friend into a girl, which is the basis of that story. Is guy gets really into makeup, asks his buddy if he can start practicing on him, ends up like turning him into a pretty girl through all the makeup practice. Friend realizes he likes cross-dressing and likes being a girl. Both of them start realizing they have feelings for each other. That's the whole crux of the series, right? Whether you like that content, agree with that content or not, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's the series. And when it came west, it turned the cross-dresser from a male into a transgender female. So it threw the entire narrative out the window. And to my point, Katrina Leonardakis was one of the people who was like, this is okay. This is perfect. I consulted with trans people, and this is how they say that it would go. And it's like, I don't give a shit. That's not their story. This is, I don't remember the author's name off the top of my head, but this is her story. You let her write it like she wants to, and you let her tell her how she wants to. It's fucking garbage. And like, again, I brought this up in somebody's chat. I think it might have been the Dick's Division last night, but it's like, these people don't have, like, every single localizer here, every single person who is out here going, I know better than the Japanese, I'm giving you a better version of the story, praise me, they ain't got good relationships with their dads. Like, let's just put it that way. Like, that's the easiest way to put it. It's the nicest way I could put it. Yes, Zero says, Nerdigans is a treasure and deserves more attention and credit. She does. She has been killing it over at Bounding with her anime reporting lately. Anytime, almost everything she has the eye for, like, good, like, the goings on in the anime community. So if you're not, following her on Bounding already, follow Bounding, check out all of her reporting, but also follow her on Twitter, YouTube, all that fun stuff. She is a great resource and also just a great friend, and also, like, a really good, like, recommendation library. When I go to Jacob for movies and I go to Nerdigans for manga, and I've literally never been led astray. Yes, like Society said, like Jacob said, unqualified and entitled. That is like you know how there are like in royal crests or like the crest for colleges or stuff, they have like Latin writings on it sometime, like, you know, let the light in or whatever it is, e pluribus unum. That should be under like every single translator profile on LinkedIn should have what was it, unqualified and entitled. We actually have at Bounding one of our newer contributors. His name's Selver Kavich, and I really hope I say that right. He's from the Baltics, and I can never get those names right. But Selver, he, first of all, go follow him on Twitter, Instagram. If I bring up somebody on this show, go follow them immediately because it's a recommendation from me. But Selver's stuff, Selver apparently used to work in this field, in this industry, editing the scripts that were like, people would translate and then they would send the scripts to Selver for like editing for grammar, and Selver would be able to look at like, here's the raw text, and he'd have some machine translation able to assist him, and he had the like thing, and there's a comment he left under this specific story actually, where it's like where he's like, yeah, you would not believe the amount of bullshit I saw coming through my desk when I was working in that field. And it's true. Like, the unfortunate thing, like, this is what really fucking hurts. And it should be more cause for alarm than I think it is. And I don't think that's for lack of attention. I just think there's so much to be mad about right now. But 92% of every Japanese production we've gotten between like, or like pre 2012 maybe, right? And then only for like 4 years was it okay. From like 2012 to 2016 we got decent translations, but everything prior and since is nowhere like it's close to the like what the author wanted, but we are getting so many changes. We're not gonna like, and that's the problem. We don't know. We are admittedly trusting these people to give us the story. We want to know the story. We want to know that author's work. We have to trust you because we have no other means of doing it. And they're going, fuck you, then you're going to do it our way. Eat shit. Well, that worked, and you were able to hold that monopoly when that was all there was, when we had to go through humans to do it. But now that there's a tool where they can get accurate translations, and then you just give it to somebody who actually speaks Japanese and gives a shit. Like, this is what I'm saying. You can, if you're doing that machine translation, shoot that shit over to a Japanese person immediately afterwards. You know why? Because the Japanese learn English as a second language. Like, it's in their curriculum. So they'll be able to tell you, oh, yeah, this is right, this is wrong, this actually makes sense. Oh, we could edit this a little more. Without going, oh, you know what? This could totally use a reference to Kamala Harris. This could totally use a Hillary 2024 reference. You know, it'd be so funny if they made a joke about Trump or about smashing the patriarchy. Isn't that so fucking funny? And like, the crazy thing too is that it's not just like, these are very American neoliberal, European neoliberal problems, and I'm stretching that, problems, right? And the problem is, like, yes, they're making these dubs for American England, but they also get exported to other countries. Like, other regions that speak English will get their dubs, and now they have to get their shit through this weird socio-political lens that they don't understand in the first place. You've made it harder for those fans to understand something, because now, instead of trying to just get through a layer of Japanese culture and understanding, now you got to get through a weird and it's not even just American, it's weirdo American. It's the super niche, what the hell is your problem, get the hell off social media American. These are the problems you don't see unless you get on American social media and see everybody bitching. If you were to do it's such fucking garbage. Just do your goddamn job. Do your job like you were hired to do, or get the hell out of here. This is my problem with, you know, it's sort of the same mentality I had with the writer strike. Yes, I sympathize. I know that you guys do deserve money, and I know that the streaming services were fucking you over. But at the same time, it's really hard for me to, like, get any sympathy for the people who made She-Hulk or Velma, or the people who are, you know, bragging about wanting to subvert our expectations in this film, or in in whatever property they might be handling. What is happening now is a fucking reckoning, because they are now realizing, one, no, nobody really likes their bullshit. There are so many threads that you can get, like, obviously this particular debate over ancient mages has spawned a bunch of threads that I encourage everybody to sort of check out if it comes across your timeline. But there are so many threads where you have, like, a translator opens up and they're like, why is everybody, like, you're all being so entitled, blah, 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 normal swings. And then somebody shows them an image of my life as Inuyasha-san's dog, or whatever else was translated by Katrina. And the translator is forced to admit, like, okay, yes, some people are going too far. So it is what am I trying to say here? Like, there's movement. I don't even know if that's exactly what I want to say. So while I think of what I want to say, let's turn to the chat. Zero says, reminder that Crunchyroll is run by cancel pigs. Others said it, not me. Well, I mean, we do know that. We do know that a lot of the Crunchyroll, like, community managers and all that kind of fun stuff, they are very much on the... I don't know if I would go so far as to say, like, they have, like, a whisper network, but they're definitely on the, like, cancel heavy side, the no transgressions whatsoever. So cancel pig absolutely applies there. Japan said, or Jacob said, they hate Japan because they can't cancel Japanese creators like they do with American creators. Absolutely. Like, that's a really good point. They have no power over there to enforce, or to, like, not even enforce, but, like, not enforce, but force their beliefs and values on the Japanese. And the Japanese don't give a shit about them. They're, like, we are a secondary market to anime and manga and video games. Like, that is just the truth. Especially, like, when it's coming out of Japan. They need to keep making shit their way. Because, like, notice when they do make things Japanesey, or they stick to their design philosophies, that's when people explode. That's when they love it, right? When you get things like, I don't know, the best one I can bring off the top of my head is in Mega Man X Dive, like, swimsuit layer, right? Super hottie, looks gorgeous. But then if you go for Western sensibilities, you get shit like Forspoken, and that tanked a studio. So I think it's not only that they know they can't cancel them, but they also know that Japanese creators are just fucking better than them. I do think that is fueling a lot of it, because we saw this. It still comes out of the American comic industry, but we saw it a lot like 2 years ago when manga was super in the upswing, which is all these American comic creators, Jerry Conway, the guy who made fucking Power Girl, right? They all come out and they go, ew, manga is so disgusting. It's so perverted. Only disgusting perverts would like this. This is not real art. This is gross. I know a lot of people like him, but Ethan Van Sciver did the same thing like a week or two ago. He went, oh, manga is for tiny-brained women. That's why they draw like that. This isn't real art. This is blah, 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 blah. And I don't even know where I was really going with that. But oh well, I totally lost my train of thought on that one. It'll come back to me. So until it comes back to me, I will return to the chat. Americans hate Japanese media. That's why they want to colonize Japanese media. That's what I'm saying. They know that everybody wants to, read that content more, that content's more appealing, that whatever they're producing over here isn't hitting. And we know that they're children, they're in arrested development. This is all ego driven. So instead of, taking a moment, reflecting and going, oh, maybe we can, in the words of Captain America, maybe we can do better. Instead of taking a moment like that, they go defensive, because I think Jacob said it, or Cider said it on Wednesday's stream, but like, they've made this stuff their identity, right? Like, if somebody insults an anime I like, or a show I like, or a game I like, I don't take it personally, because it's not everything I am. I have other aspects to my personality. I have other things I can go do. I have other things I can talk to you about. But these people have made culture, like SJW, like their identity. So the second anything pushes back against it and nobody likes what they're doing, they screech and they cry oppression instead of doing anything about it. And like, you're seeing that, gosh, I wish I had the tweet on me, but like Katrina Leonardakis, she's doing that exact thing now, right? Asmongold, huge streamer, recently did a stream on this. And that got buku eyes on it. It blasted the topic out to so many more people. And Katrina's like, oh my gosh, now they're, everybody be careful. They're coming for us. They're harassing us. They're spreading the lies. And it's like, that's not, we are literally just showing them what you gave us. I'm sorry. Did you not want your work to, like, this is the thing. They thought they would get away with this and nobody would ever turn a blind eye and they thought they would have all the power in the world. But now that they're being threatened, now that there's an actual potential for them to lose their jobs, now they're in panic mode. And honestly, fuck them. Good. You deserve to panic for this shit. And I'm not talking to the localizers who make there's a really disingenuous argument going around where a lot of people are going, oh, you gotta, you have to be nice to the translators. Not everything's going to be one-to-one. Of course there are going to be mistakes and things are going to sound different. Stop getting mad at people for translating, like, I understand as okay or sure. And it's like, that is not what we're fucking complaining about. That is fine. That's stuff that makes, sure, I understand would work, but it could also make sense to localize it. That's not the fucking issue. When you go, oh man, that's poggers. That's the shit we hate. That's the crap we don't want. We just want to know what the hell the original author was talking about. I don't want to hear any of your weird daddy didn't love me enough swings at him. It's so stupid. And yes, I agree, Zero. Like, Katrina needs to leave the industry. Anybody who goes into an industry, or let me rephrase, anybody who goes into like a localization or a translation or some industry like that where you're in charge of shepherding other people's works and creations to other people in different markets, if you start inserting yourself into that production, no matter what the hell it is, like let's say you're going around and you're a music producer and you're like, yeah, check out this new band, it's the Volume Dealers, and all of a sudden, halfway through your showing of the records and selling them across the continent, you start going like, yeah, I mean, they can't do anything without me. I'm the one who really gave them all the hits. And it's like, did you fucking really? No, you didn't. And stop trying to pretend you are. Stop trying to force yourself into this. We don't want you. We don't care about your input. We want to know about the band. We want to know about the author. So get the fuck out of my face. Yes, dude, everybody needs a Stone Cold Stunner. I need a button. I only have one sound effect button because I've been super lazy and all it does is this. It's just the rider kick sound, and it's the, if you follow me on Twitch, it's the same sound that plays when you subscribe. I don't know. I plan for the next stream to be like super upgraded, and I want to do a bunch of stuff. So bear with me. It's just time sinks, right? There's lots of times to go. Yes, Zero, Jamie Marshy, don't even get me started on her. She is like the epitome of cancel pig in the industry. Her and what's her name? Monica Rial and that entire group, like that shows how cliquey and stupid this industry can get. And unfortunately, it's not just this industry, it's human nature. But once you let cliques start running everything and you let office politics seed you seed power to office politics, everything goes downhill. Now everybody knows all the drama. Why the fuck can't we go back to when celebrities and all these people, we don't care about your opinions on shit. It was better when I heard like a soundbite from you on Access Hollywood once a week instead of hearing every stupid asinine take you have on everything, because these people don't look into shit. They hear one thing, they hear that it confirms what they think, and they go, and I don't know. It's so fucking infuriating. Weirdo American, says Josh. I don't know any other type. Look, you're right. I really can't argue against that. Volume Dealer says, what if the secondary female characters were the lead? Oh, are you talking about Marvel's What If? I've watched 2 episodes. I watched the what was the plot of that one? The Avengers one, like what if Star-Lord attacked Earth and the Avengers have to assemble in like 1983 or whatever, so you get like Ant-Man, Hank Pym, you get Giant Goliath, who the hell else is there? Some other people, yada yada. Oh, and then I watched the Native American one because I wanted to see if there was anything to it. It was whatever. But then I've watched 3. I watched the holiday one because it has Justin Hammer, and Justin Hammer A is like my favorite villain in Marvel, and B, Sam Rockwell is like my favorite actor, and he's back, and it's just, if you can put more Justin Hammer in my life, I'll take more Justin Hammer in my life. Zero says EBS is a BoomerCon idiot though, and a backstabber as well. I don't know all those politics. Like I genuinely try to stay out of like drama, politics, all that stuff. I'm an adult. I've got way better things to do with my time than fling shit back and forth and start whisper networks and all that stuff. So I don't know anything about that, but I do know that he is very hard. Like he is very much a boomer. Like it's true. Like he has very boomery opinions on stuff. Yeah, Jacob. Too long didn't read. Hoes mad. Hoes mad. Both those hoes and this hoe is mad. Volume says we need a co-host. I don't know where Josh is. Josh was supposed to be the co-host all those years ago. I've still got your seat right here. It's waiting for you, but the bastard would rather, I don't know, what do British people do something on like Fridays? Do you all have to go and like kneel in front of, do you have to like pray towards Big Ben 7 times a day on Friday? I'm not entirely sure. Zero says Usmagold is the one who literally set the normies against localizers. Yeah, he brought that story to like normie attention, I guess you could say, because there are no outlets covering this story. You want to know who's covering the story? Bounding Into Comics. Me, Nerdigans, us. We're the duo that's attacking this stuff, or like attacking this beat. Nobody else wants to talk about it because they, like, IGN, GameSpot, Anime News Network, this is the stuff they want. This is the stuff they support. So, of course, they don't give any shits if, they overload us with it. Because to them, they're just going to seal clap it. Especially because they're, like, half these fucking people, like I just gave you with that example of the localizer who had to admit he was wrong. These people aren't actually engaging with the bullshit that we are complaining about. They get their outrage or their talking points from a buddy, from another localizer, or a thread or a person like Katrina, right? Like a thread from her. And so they get these completely one-sided slanted reads of the situation, and then they go, oh, of course we're the best. Of course it's just le angry chuds who are pissed off about this, right? And it's like, no. And it's so dishonest of you. And I know I'm saying it's dishonest coming from like this side, but it's also dishonest when it comes from people in our sphere. People who see one page of a comic book and lose their goddamn minds and cry about it. The biggest example I can say about that recently is like the week before Christmas. There's a page in one of the John Kent Superman books, right? Like, obviously they're bad books. Don't get me wrong. I don't like them. They read terribly. But there is a scene in one of them where he goes to his boyfriend, Jay, the one with the pink hair, and he needs his help on something. So he goes to give him a flight, like a Legion flight ring, like the Legion of Heroes, so that Jay can fly. And he puts it forward, and Jay makes a little joke about like, oh, are you proposing to me? Like, shouldn't you be on one knee? It was a joke in the comic. It is very clearly a flight ring, and they go flying in the next panel. But I saw so many dumb right-wing culture warriors going, this is it now. Oh my gosh, now everybody's just marrying in comics. Oh my frick. And it's like, do you realize how you look when you flip out about something without having the proper context? If you want to get mad at that, fine. But when you get mad at something when it's an obvious joke because you didn't want to like invest a second to look through an issue, you deserve all the egg on your. You deserve to look like a jackass, and everybody deserves to laugh at you. Like in the age of piracy, any given issue is a click away, like on your computer. Take the 30 seconds to go skim through the damn book to make sure things are actually outrage worthy. Otherwise, you just start looking like a chicken shit reactionary. And nobody likes reactionaries, whether left, right, center. Anybody who just reacts, we know that those are just grifters. Those are people who just can't see past their own nose and can't, I don't know. All of them need to shut the hell up. What did I do down here? Oh, I opened up the debug menu. Whoops. All right, back to the chat. Yes, Vince McMahon. Fuck him, pal. Yeah. Dude, bring him back. Just have him have Vince translate my anime. That's what I'm talking about. They Zero says they spent so much time harassing people and demeaning them on Twitter that my sympathy for them is zero. I don't even consider them human. Oh, you're talking about localizers? Yeah, like those ideological fighters like that. Again, making a distinction from the people who actually try and actually care and the people who just run roughshod over it. Fuck them. Like I don't have anything deeper to say other than fuck them. You guys ruined a bunch of works. You've turned people off of so many works that are fantastic, all because of your bullshit. And like for me, I know personally I've been turned off of products that I was super stoked and excited for because I just couldn't stand the damn translations. The one that stands in the prominent one is Aegis 13 or 13 Sentinels, right? Like Aegis of War or whatever the subtitle is. But that RPG, it's like time travel, mechas, everything I like. But they had to turn again, it was another instance of a boy cross-dressing as a girl, and to him it was just a disguise. They had to turn it into this whole subplot about being trans, and it's like, I'm not against trans people, I'm not against gay people, but I am against you running over original things for your own very obvious pet, what is it, like pet politic with a K? I don't know the best term for it, but like, it's very clear you're inserting your own bullshit here. I can't stand it. I don't want to support you. Because the minute I give you money for that signals to the company, this was good. Gamers will apply, like they'll pay for it or whatever. And like I put my money where my mouth is. The Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection, completely uncensored. Yeah, it has that stupid warning at the beginning, but we've been putting those on Looney Tunes cartoons since the 1980s. They're stupid as shit, but it is what it is. But at least everything in the game was left untouched. Well, they corrected some Navi names because they were typoed in the original, and I find that disrespectful. I want my original typo names. Josh says, that swear jar is getting stuffed tonight. Dude, this topic has been boiling on me all week. Like, Nerdigans and I have been in our mini anime anime beat command center just watching this shit and collecting, and it's just, I just want to be able to watch something and know that what I'm watching hasn't been fucked with. I want to know that I'm getting the actual original thing instead of creating an opinion or growing close to growing attached to something that isn't fucking real, that didn't exist. I don't care about your stupid read of Evangelion, right? I want to know how Hideaki Anno read Evangelion, because he fucking made it. LOL at British people praying. Hey, to be fair, British people would be praying, towards a certain direction. I don't know how to finish this joke. I'm trying to say British has a lot of Muslims jokes. Let's see. That's true. Caffeinated Wolf commented the same thing you did about the ring. Yeah, again, there are so many things to genuinely get angry at. It is so easy to find genuine bullshit, whether it's a mistranslation, a forced politics into a work, a dumb take. Like, there are so many things to be really mad at. Don't get distracted by, don't swing at shadows, essentially, because you just end up looking retarded. And I'm really glad you brought this up, Society, and I'm gonna take like a good 10 minutes probably. Like, this is gonna be a quick sidebar, but we really need to talk about it, which is and let me pull it up. So as Jacob brings up, hashtag CalendarGate, and if you follow Jacob, you've been seeing him on this all week. And just at the top here, Jacob, I completely how old am I for beer? I was born in 1901. And yeah, just at the preface, Jacob, I agree with absolutely everything you've been saying. But so this has been like a big thing on social media this week, which is this group. They're called Ultra Right or Ultra Right Beer or something. I'm not familiar with the company, but they put out a pinup calendar essentially with a lot of the models were like women in the conservative like movement, right? Like, you've got like Josie the redheaded libertarian, Dana Loesch, Riley Gaines, like that, right? And so you've got pictures of women in swimsuits, right? Like posing, like this one. They're attractive, right? But they're not like the worst ones. But I know that the one that set people off really bad was hold on, water. these, if you can see them, can I zoom in? Like this one of Riley Gaines in a swimsuit, and this one of Josie posing in front of like a cross in a house baking, right? First off, my main criticism with this Josie picture is the appliances. They just, I know what they're going for, but for some reason they don't fit to me. And every time I see this picture, I just get distracted by it. And also like the single candle on the counter. I don't know. It feels weird to me. But that's just complete nitpick artist stuff, right? But this set off like a gigantic row on conservative Twitter about like, oh, this is disgusting. How dare you whore yourselves out? How dare you, titillate? If you're doing something to, if you're trying to be sexy, you're eliciting lust and you're committing sin. And it's like, look, as Jacob pointed out, one, where the hell was this energy last month or like 2 weeks ago when Twitch, a platform specifically for teenagers and primarily teenage boys, had full-blown nude women just on their page. And to this day, like, yeah, they rolled back the nudity rules, right? But it's just back to where it was before that. You can still have fucking hot tub streams. You can still pole dance. You can still do erotic ASMRs, and nobody gives a shit. And it's I'm not going to speak like from the conservative point of view about like what it's doing to the movement or anything, because I'm not a part of it. I don't consider myself a conservative. That's for them to sort of get at. But from an outsider's point of view, what I don't, I can't link Jacob because this isn't a StreamYard thing. I'm doing this through OBS. So we'll bring it up on next week's bounding stream, I promise, because I definitely want to talk to you about this because this is insane. But where was I? And like they look at this picture of Josie and they're going, "Oh, that's blasphemy because you're singing in front of God." And it's like, look, one, purity tests are going to destroy any movement anytime. Like we see it all the time with like liberals, right? Like, "Oh, you're not sufficiently anti-racist enough. Oh, you did this in the past. You are you can't be in our club." That's the shit all the conservatives hated, right? And now they're doing the exact same thing, which goes to show me like a lot of these quote unquote movements aren't really about eliciting change or doing anything, more so as they are about promoting your team and grifting money off of things. So, but that aside, what really, really gets me about this stuff is like, yes, it's like, again, I'm not religious, so I can't really have a strong opinion on it, but like, yes, it's sinful or whatever, but like, one, especially when it comes to Riley Gaines, like, she's a fucking swimmer. This is what she wears. This is a standard outfit for her. And then second, like, and this is something I could not believe I realized, but it's like, do you know, like, the average guy, right? Even the average conservative, the one who's not on Twitter 24/7 and made being a conservative, like, influencer his entire personality, these people, like, they like having sexy ladies on their calendars. They, I go visit my family down in Tennessee all the time, and what do my cousins have on their garage doors? Old school beer pinup calendars, or maybe the old like cutouts that they used to have at the convenience stores. Like, people like attractive people. Like, I'm sorry, right now the right is starting to sound like the left, where you're not allowed to be attractive, you're not allowed to appeal to anybody, you have to cover the fuck up, otherwise every single thing you do is sin. And like, to me, the more I think about it, the more contradictions I'm seeing. It's like, oh, but I thought we wanted people to remember, like, don't you want people to remember what like real women look like, quote unquote real women? Don't you want like more people to go out and like have a sex drive and date because our birth rates are declining? Like, it's so stupid. It's all so fucking stupid. And the more you start acting like the other side, the more you expose why nobody should take you seriously. Jacob says, literally only 2 women in the calendar are wearing swimsuits, and one of them is a professional swimmer. That's 100% true. It's Riley and she was on the other page. Where was it? Like Brittany Jean, and then there's Ashley St. Clair in like lingerie, right? But it's like, I don't know what you want. When you start going this hard into purity things and saying nobody, like, this is unacceptable, you cannot do this, there's no wiggle room, I don't know. And especially when it comes to things like this, it's like, just let people, guys like sexy ladies. What am I supposed to tell you? Don't you, I've heard, we heard so much coming out of the conservative right this past year about like, oh, everybody's ugly nowadays. Hollywood makes everybody ugly. We have to focus on ugly people. And then the second we highlight beauty, like this one in particular, what is her name? Kim Clake. I don't know her. I don't know her at all, but like, this is one of the least like it's cute, playful, sexy. Like, this is the most innocent one. I saw her getting attacked for being a whore, for being a slut, for this picture. Like, what is happening? Do you want burqas? Do you guys all want to marry, disgusting, at this point, go marry the what am I trying to say? The lobotomy cut, blue-haired, activist, because you're made for each other. You're literally doing the same thing. You want the same thing. Like horseshoe theory, just kiss. And then, right, Jacob. Meanwhile, Abby Shapiro's entire brand is modesty, but everyone goes crazy for her rack. Like, it's a running joke. Everybody brings it up. Anytime you mention Ben, the thread will have at least 3 or 4 pictures of Abby. Like, this is what I'm talking about. And then you also, like we get these conversations all the time about, we want attractive women, let's have more women back, blah, blah, blah. And then the second you get it, it's not good enough for you, because it did it in a way that is not 100% acceptable to you. And this is why, like, anybody who goes that hard will always lose, because nobody wants this bullshit forced upon them. If you want to go live and be a weirdo and not buy the calendar, and you want to go think that these women are all sluts, fine. But if you start trying to apply that to an entire movement and make that a basic requirement for joining, you're going to lose a large part of your base. Nobody, like, very few people want this. And, like, did we lose our ability to have fun in this country? What the fuck happened? Like, this goes back to the thing I always talk about, where in this country, we're no longer allowed to, like, joke or be sincere about, or, like, nothing can be sincere, because everybody needs to make it a fucking problem. Nobody can have fun. Nobody can be lighthearted, because everybody takes themselves seriously. To them, this isn't a one-off calendar. This is now their defining movement, because I'm attached to it. It's me. And it's like, get the fuck over yourselves. This is not about you. This is about, it's about charity. It's about funds. Like, it literally, 10% of sales will be donated to the Riley Gaines Center to protect women's sports from extreme leftist ideology seeking to destroy real women. Like, what the hell do you guys want? It's so bizarre at this point. And if bikinis are sinful, yeah, Jacob, exactly. You and I are done, because if bikinis are sinful, we never stood a chance growing up in San Diego. Bingo. And also, you want the biggest smackdown on them. Like, they love Trump, right? Trump's their guy. His wife is like, she poses topless. She poses nude. There was a photo shoot she did. The one, let me see if I can find it, because it should be really easy to pull up. Here it is. Just gotta open it, pull this up, throw it over on the screen. So, like, this picture of Melania, it's not even the full picture. She's like, it goes down to her feet, and she's wearing like a bikini. She's wearing like a bikini, or heels, I mean. Why does nobody have like the full one? That's super weird. I genuinely don't know why nobody wants to give me. Okay, there we go. Thank you, Cosmo. Never thought I'd say that, right? Like, this photo was taken like in the lead up to Trump announcing his candidacy. If you look at this caption right here, quote, "Talk of Trump running for president has fueled suggestions that Melania may one day be America's first lady. I think every woman would like to be," she says. Why not? Like, this is the wife. This was of your guy, of your big, perfect conservative leader, right? Fuck off. You don't get to talk shit on Riley and all these other women when this is your guy's girl. Like, this is promoting more bullshit that conservatives should be against than those other calendars. baseless consumerism of buying just jewelry and bullshit, like immodesty. Like it's so fucking stupid. And when events like this happen, it really shows who's in it to actually change the world and make things, different. Whether it's, whether you agree they're making it for the better or the worse, whatever, it always depends. But if they're just bitching and they're tearing everything down, they just care about themselves. They want you to focus on them because they think they're so goddamn important. But you're not. You're not. Get over yourself. It's not the outfit that makes it sinful, says Jacob. It's the thoughts. None of these women's are my type, so these pictures did nothing for me. But I do understand that point. And again, I'm not trying to shut down all religious arguments because I know that they are valid, and I'm not religious, so I can't speak from that perspective. But I also am yes. Here's where I'm confused, and maybe Jacob and the other religious folks in the chat can let me know. To me, it just seems like there's going to be some level of lust in life no matter what, right? Like if I go out to a grocery store and I could see a girl in sweatpants and a sweater with her hair in a bun, and she, just ran out of the house after working 36 hours straight, and she's just trying to grab some lunch, right? To me, that I could look at, if the girl hits what I hit, is what I like, I can see myself going oh my God, I want to marry you, come home, let's yada yada, just let that fantasy happen. So I feel like that fantasy happens with everybody. Isn't this a better level to have them being lusting over conservative imagery than something like this? Again, it's so confusing, and there are so many ins and outs of it that make it, and then that's sort of where I get Jacob. It's they want to say, oh, it's the lustful thoughts. Well, okay, but I also see you guys every other day circulating photos of women you do think are hot. Josie, the redheaded libertarian, her photos are shared all the time by people going, oh my God, she's so pretty. Oh my God, she's so cute. And it's what are we doing here? It's all just so hypocritical and bullshit. And yeah, Jacob, Jacob's been on the forefront of this fight all week, and he's just been nailing headshot after headshot to the point where I just want to say go read his feed. I've liked everything he said about it because he's just hitting that. And then Shinkai replies, never works two ways. Guys can be shirtless, women shows ankles, and suddenly everyone goes wild. And I mean, isn't that the same mentality that we get from the neo-leftists, right? In comic books, oh, it doesn't matter that Superman and Thor are muscle ripped and skin tight clothes, or it doesn't matter that Hercules has got a chest full of hair and he's always running around shirtless. That's fine. But the second you put Jean Grey in her 90s outfit and it's a little skin tight, people lose their minds, right? It's the exact same thing, just from a different philosophy. To them, it's oh, this is sexist, and then to the conservatives, it's this is sinful. In the opposite, it's so. Everybody needs to breathe. And I'm not telling you to abandon religious principles or that your religious principles are stupid, right? Everybody has their own thing. We're all just trying to get through this world. That you believe what you believe, cool. But we need to breathe. Everybody collectively just needs to fucking breathe. And Jacob says, then these people admitted they knew nothing about the Twitch thoughts, but went crazy over the calendar. They are admitting they are out of touch and they are dying on the wrong hills. I saw that so much. Whatchamacallit? Yeah, the Twitch thing is baffling to me. That should be the hill everybody was fighting on. That is an easy win for the conservative movement. It was right there. And instead, they decide to infight instead of getting a solid freaking win. Banning the Twitch thoughts off of Twitch would have gotten so much praise from the community, from most media outlets, not Kotaku or whatever, because oh, you're killing sex work, blah blah blah. It would have improved the site's functionality. It would have made things more fair. But and people would have gone, hey, conservatives got a W. Got to give it to them. But instead, now it's just, counting down the time to the next Twitch thing and letting and infighting ahead of big elections. I don't know. I mean, I know the election's a year away, and this probably won't factor in once we get there. But it's still just so stupid for it's not unifying. On a Christian note, says Jacob, the point of Jesus' parable is that adultery begins with the thought of committing adultery, not the act. Right. These people have taken it to mean don't look at any women ever. Yeah, see, like that's okay, Jacob. That's kind of what I was thinking about, right? Like, because yeah, like it's too extreme, and there's no way that Jesus was like, don't look at anybody ever, like, because just impossible. So okay, thank you. That's sort of what I was looking for, and I knew the Bible lenser over there would know. And then Josh says, meanwhile, Michelle Obama's junk can be seen dangling every time he wears a dress. To be fair, when was the last time you even saw her? Like, I genuinely mean this. Was she in that was she in the movie, Jacob, the Netflix movie or whatever the hell that was? I'm not going anywhere near it, but I know that you and Rick and Rob did. Volume Dealer says, I muted that chick. Now talk about Angela. Oh, yeah, 10 months away is the election. Dang, it's coming up so fast. Like, side note, that month is just going to be so insufferable just to be on social media at all. Like, I'm not looking forward to it. Angela who? Angela, which Angela are we talking about? If we're talking about, is she somebody on the calendar? Because I'm really only talking about people I know. Oh, that's the same thing. Oh, here we go. Load. So it might be on that first page. Peyton Drew. Yeah, no, I don't know who Angela is, but I will talk about Angela if I know who it is. Let's see. But yeah, so Calendar Gate is probably one of the dumbest things ever. It's gotten. I fully expect Andrew Tate to weigh in on this, and like tonight. It's going to be stupid, but it is what it is, right? Like, this is just sort of the state of where we are, and I don't know. I have no advice for you other than to keep your head on straight, listen to people who actually like engage with the Bible or what they're talking about, people like Jacob, and don't buckle over for these people, whether it's the translators who say that they know better than you, or it's the conservative influencers who like want the right to watch you in your bedroom at all times. It's like, it's Angela. Yeah, Volume Dealer says, I meant when you said Jean Grey and Angela from Spawn Marvel. Angela's outfits were only magical ribbons or whatever they are. No, that's true, Volume. Like, Angela's were like magical ribbons. She got like a fight bikini when she finally came back to Marvel after Secret Wars, but now she's their lesbian queen, right? Like, she's a lesbian god of whatever. So, and I'm not even making a joke. Like, she is like she's a lesbian now, and she's like a god in the Marvel universe. So, yes, queen when it comes to Angela. And then, yeah, Josh, best time to write articles about Hollywokes crying over Trump. Dude, our plates are going to be packed to the point where, like, I am basically, like, I'm pretty sure Jacob's going to get the itch to be like, I need to slam these people. Like, I'm writing an article. I'm taking this. Like, November is going to be a heavy ass month for us. So buckle up, Josh. There's a version where she takes Hella's role. Yeah, that was for, like, I don't remember where I think that was the Secret Wars thing. The problem with Angela is, like, they didn't know what to do with her. They got the rights back to her, and that was, like, the big thing was, like, oh, look, we won. Angela's ours. Now what do we do? So they, like, for a little while, she's related to Thor and Loki. And so for a little while, she was on the Asgard story, and then she went with the Guardians of the Galaxy because she was a cosmic thing, and then she went on a solo adventure, and then she went into the mystic realm with, like, Strange and Clea, and it's just, they don't know what to do with her, so they kind of just throw her around. It happens all the time in comic books, right? It's just, that's what happened to Angela. Shinkai says, hopefully you can avoid Summer of Love because, everyone will raise, insert BLM rise, like past, oh, dude, I'm telling you this right now, Shinkai, as an American, summer, we're going to get that. It's not going to be, I don't think it'll be quite like a summer long like it was, but we're definitely going to get, like, riots and business smashing and all that shit once it all comes down to it. And honestly, like, no matter which way the election goes, we're going to get it. I definitely think that a lot of the like conservative people, the more invested conservatives are going to be pissed if Biden wins, and the neo-libs are going to be pissed if Trump wins, right? So who knows? And then there's the whole crap that's going on in, what's that, New Hampshire or something, or Colorado, where Trump's been removed from the ballot. It's all over the place. It's all wild. It's only going to get more wild from here. Expect some really good takes from Rob Reiner and Sean Penn and oh man, Mark Ruffalo. You know he's going to have something to say about this. And yeah, it was an FU to McFarland by Game and Volume to like get him back and bring him in, and it's just like, I don't know. It was sort of like one of those things where it's like, yeah, check it out, woo! Oh my gosh, everybody lose their mind. Here's Thing, and then you look at Thing and you're like, what does Thing do? Presentation over. Like that's what it is, and it's weird because she's a literal like angel of God, like the Christian God Yahweh, and she wields double swords. I don't know, like that seems like a really cool concept to me. Have her go fight Mephisto or something. Have her go fight Dormammu. Just anything else that's not hanging out doing nothing. And then yes, Jacob, Bitcoin, hashtag Bitcoin and bullets. That's everybody be loading up on those right now. Josh says no Rosanna Arquette though. Oh no, that's your specific beat. I'm gonna make sure you only cover her. No, I'm gonna make sure you only cover Oprah. You're gonna be, or no, you have here's your assignment, Josh. You are now assigned to cover the entirety of The View when it comes down to their takes on the election. That's your job now. That's your assignment. And then Josh says, whoa, it couldn't be more stupid than that Star Wars theory and Mark Hamill thing. Please don't talk about this. I didn't mean to derail the derailment. It's fine. It's not that big of a thing. In case you guys didn't know, there's this weird forced drama going on where like Star Wars theory, the YouTuber, made a deep fake of him on like as, or like it's not he made a deep fake production of a Luke Skywalker thing using like Mark Hamill's appearance, and somebody asked like Mark Hamill was like, hey, did you give your likeness to him for this? And Mark Hamill tweeted one word. He said no. And then that caused a whole flurry of like, oh no, Mark Hamill hates me. I can't believe Mark Hamill hates me, yada yada. Like Star Wars theory was really milking it. And then somebody straight up asked Mark Hamill, like, are you mad at him for this? Like, do you hate the YouTuber who did that? And Mark's like, no. Like same thing, like just one word, like no. So it's all stupid. It's all forced. Again, it's the me. I need the attention on me. Like that's the ecosystem we live in nowadays with social media and all the other garbage, right? So, and then Josh says she left Twitter. Oh, that's right, she left Twitter. Well, maybe she's on Threads. You ever think about that? Do you ever think about she might be on Threads? That's rude of you. Or she's on Threads with James Gunn, following the James Gunn news accounts. They're the James Gunn team. But yeah, so. Oh yeah, Whoopi will compare Trump to Adolf at least once. Dude, I fully expect that to be like the first thing she says when she comes back on the air, like in the new year, right? Like, all right, holidays are over. Let's look forward to Hitler. Like, it's gonna be so stupid. Everything, her and Joy Behar. Like, Whoopi is dumb, but I feel like Joy Behar is like way more annoying than Whoopi. Like, I don't know how to explain that. Like Whoopi, when she, like, Whoopi is stupid and she says stupid things, but she will also apologize, even though it's like a very like, fine, I got that wrong. Like she'll admit she's wrong, or she'll just be like, all right, whatever. I believe what I believe. I'm sticking with it. Joy Behar is like, everything is bad. Oh my God. That's right, Whoopi. I remember yesterday I was afraid of Trump. And it's just like, shut the fuck up. Yeah, Tehillim coming in late, but yes, shalom and good to see you as well, my friend. We are just talking random things. We've been talking the localizer drama. We've been talking the hashtag calendar gate. We've been talking just lots of stuff. So welcome. There's no real structure to tonight's show. It's sort of this. Obviously, you've been here. I don't need to explain to you, but I did realize while Whoopi Goldberg shallow apologies. They are completely shallow. I'm not like I don't believe them, but there is still a level of humility being shown by having her, by like going, okay, what do you call it? Like it. I'm like, I don't believe I'm wrong, but I will at least go on TV and play nice, right? Like there's some level of humility there that you don't get. And I'm not saying it's a lot. I'm not saying she's a saint. I'm not saying she's a great person. None of that. I'm just giving credit where credit is due. You don't get that from Joy. You don't get that from anybody else on that stupid panel. But at least with Whoopi, there's a little bit there. There's a little bit there. Uh, Still doesn't hit the main topic. Is there a topic even? There is a topic, and I guess we can get into it now. It is not a very big topic, but I figured it's the end of the year. Let's just run, like, everybody's doing their wrap-ups, so I figured I would do a, and then, yes, I did do the shitting on localizers topic, but that wasn't in the thumbnail, which, if you guys didn't know my thumbnail, it is Cinnamon from Mega Man, and it is her New Year's outfit from X-Dive, so that's why I picked it. Also, she's a cute blonde anime girl. How could I pass that up? So I figure to wrap up the show tonight with what was supposed to be the quote-unquote main topic is I just figured I would run through sort of my favorite video games, things from this year, just sort of run it down, recap it, and then look to see, and then, maybe we'll talk about what comes in the future. So, Zero says, that's Cinnamon? I thought it was Roll. No. Yeah, it's Cinnamon, right? The choices were between, like, Cinnamon and Iris, but Iris looks so generic without any of her stuff on, because she's just wearing the, like, a Shrine Maiden garb, and, no hat or anything. So Iris just looks like brown-haired anime girl. So I went with Cinnamon because it at least had some personality. Shinkai says, MSM apologies can rival YouTube apologies for how genuine they are, but YouTubers are funnier / cringier. I completely agree with you, Shinkai, and I think it's sort of like with TV personalities and like MSM personalities, they apologize and they get to move on immediately because they have those team of producers, they have shows to do, things got to keep moving. But with YouTubers, you kind of got to sit there. You kind of got to take your hit. Like, I wish more MSM people would take their hits, but I'm just laughing at sort of the reality we are in today. I pray to God I never have to make an apology video. They're so stupid, and just don't make them. Just apologize. Just make just write an apology. I don't know. I've never been in a situation where I've needed to do that. It's all stupid, but it is also hilarious. Next, when I do my stream, you know damn well I'm gonna have a ukulele. Yeah, Zero. So let's get into it. So I figured I would start off with video games I played, starting with some of the more honorable mentions and moving into more game of the year territory. I haven't really ranked them per se, so while we'll go in an order, think of it more as if we're on a scale of like really good to fantastic. So one of the first things I wanted to... Oh, and before we start going, and before we keep going, I wanted to note that tonight's Stream Buddy, because I know we leapt right into this window and we just got into it, but in case you guys don't know who this is Minami Hanabe. She is the main actress from Shin Kamen Rider, and she was also in Godzilla -1, but I love this woman, dudes. Like, I have a huge celebrity crush on her. Like, she's just like sunshine. She's beautiful. Her roles are great. And that's why she's here tonight. Because not only is she my waifu, but this Shin Kamen Rider is my movie of the year. Spoiler alert. I know, nobody saw that coming. But let's kick things off in the video game realm with... So this is the first one I want to highlight. It's not like a big release, but it was something I had fun with. And it is Shin Kamen Rider, or SD Shin Kamen Rider Rumble. Now, if you haven't played it, if you haven't seen this, here, let me pull up some gameplay trailer and we can watch it while I talk. But it is basically it is a Switch game. It is a sort of very basic beat 'em up based in the movie. Here, I got the trailer up here. We can just watch that while we go. Where is my cursor? I need to blow it up to full screen, but my cursor is disappearing. All right, there it is. So yeah, it's a beat 'em up game. It's got both Ichigo and oh my gosh, why am I blanking on his name? Hongo. Oh my gosh, wow, I can't believe I forgot Takeshi Hongo. But it's really fun. It is simple, but really fun to pick up and play. you know, you can get your Kamen Rider action. I'm just a fan of beat 'em ups in general, so anytime we can get one with solid gameplay like this, I'm completely about it. And like it's not super deep. You don't have a lot of like characters to unlock or anything, but it's got depth. It's definitely worth a play. And like I said, it's if you're somebody who regularly has like their Switch out around with them, or you're one who like picks it up and plays a lot, this is one of those games that's easy to just pop, play a couple levels, put back down. And I feel like we don't have a lot of games like that nowadays. Like I feel like so many games are, if you're gonna play, you have to invest. So shout out to to SD Kamen Rider for that one. Yeah, okay, Josh. Game of the year, Modern Warfare. Where's your Todd and Aaron energy, dude? We haven't gone outside the box yet. Okay, keep it. Don't spoil anything. Fuck, I forgot about Todd and Aaron. I'm so excited. Those are my favorite fucking videos. I also got. If you guys don't, so we're talking Mega 64. They do the like the series of like this anime thing in do you tee-hee to this? Of course I tee-hee to this. What was I saying? Shit, I forgot because I was tee-heeing. I was Jack Frostin' over here. Anyway, that's that game. Let's see. The second game of the year that I really liked, that I was playing, was let me pull up that trailer. I originally had like images I was going to show and we would just like sit there and talk about them, but I think this is much more fun to like watch like actual gameplay and whatnot. So there was a game back in the day. It was called the Ninja Warriors again, or the Ninja Saviors. And it was a classic beat 'em up game, but they did a new one this year, and it's a remaster remake, but it's also got like new characters. It, again, you can sort of see it's a classic arcade side-scrolling beat 'em up. Very what's that game? Final Fight, Streets of Rage, on a 2D plane rather than like I guess it's a 2D plane, but you know how in like X-Men and Turtles in Time, you can go up and down the map. Obviously, this is a side-scroller one with just some very basic, or not very basic. It is a side-scroller with beat 'em up elements, lots of cool things. Every character design is like really, really, yeah. See, like this guy, I just pulled up a Let's Play, so that guy just died to that boss, so now he picks a different character. But all these sprites look beautiful. It's sort of like when you think of old arcade games, this is what you think of. Like this, even with all of the nostalgia filter and the rose-colored glasses, this delivers that experience, even though like that experience is completely like fogged by memories. You know what I mean? Everything is like, to me, one of the best. Like, I love sprite work. I cannot get over sprite work. If your game has sprites, I will tee-hee myself to that game if it has sprites. For example, Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. There is that expanded version of it, and or not expanded, but like the 3D remastered version of it. And I don't like that version as much as I like the original Game Boy one, because those sprites are just crisp and beautiful, and effort goes into them. And I'm just a giant fan of that. I gotta send one message real quick, guys. It came up. Business. Okay, so we're back to it. Yeah, so very solid beat 'em up game. Again, sprite work, give it to me all the time. Bring back sprite fighters over like 3D model fighters, because I feel like, to me, understanding where like a pixel on a sprite hits is easier than like the hit detection on exactly where a polygonal model is going to, because like maybe this is the model, right? Like I'm Ken and I'm chopping, but then there's like it's sharp and it's not exact, so maybe the hitbox goes out like a little bit more. It's so confusing. I don't like that. Josh says that Shin Kamen Rider game looks like one of those that get community noted on Twitter. The video does not reflect the gameplay. See, and it is, because it is one of those very simple games, right? It is not your Batride War Genesis is. It's not your SD Scrambles. Like, it is very much it should be on mobile. It should be on mobile. Like, that's the best I can say about it. If it was on mobile, I would be flipping that thing over every time I go to the bathroom, right? Like, it's just, if and like that's actually probably a good comparison between the two games I just mentioned, which is, Shin Kamen Rider, pretty like it's a casual beat 'em up. It's fun, but it's serviceable. You really get more out of it if you are a Kamen Rider fan like myself. This is a more, the Ninja Warriors, the Savior Return. This is more of an actual like game. This is more, you're gonna have challenge. You've got to focus on your life bars. You've got to play. You've got to be careful. So whatever. And I think, Josh, you having just responded to you, this just made me remember it. But I think there's like they try to like do a CRT emulation filter on this game, and it ends up being pretty good. I don't think this is it, but I think it has that option. You'd have to check it out. But come on, any game that respects like the CRT imagery and the sprites, you gotta love it. And then when it comes together with incredible tight gameplay, buy it now. So the next game on my list for this year, which it's going to be a quick one. So this is probably going to be like the most niche title I talk about. But this year we got this game, Master Detective Archives Raincode. It is the latest production from the team, and I mean like the writer, the producers, the music, the artists, everybody from the Danganronpa series. It is their new game, so it is what it like. There's not a lot to explain about the game. It's a murder mystery with supernatural elements. If you've played Danganronpa, you sort of know what to expect. It's closer in gameplay to a visual novel than it is to an actual game, because there's not really like fail states or gameplay per se. But the story is really good. Like that's why I played Danganronpa. I get sucked into the story, the characters, the story, all that fun stuff. So if you're into that kind of stuff, if you're into Japanese visual novels or Danganronpa or just longer drawn out stories, definitely check out this game. It's a one-off game. You don't need to know anything else, so you can just dive on in. But also, there's this really cool. It's also got like a really. I tried to show it the other day, but it's got this really cool cape of like effect on his cape, on the main character's cape, where it's constantly like it's like fire. So it like things like it flickers off at the bottom of his cape, but it's just like an effect. If you play the game, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It's impossible to find like good footage of the game to pull up and be like, see, they're focusing on his coat. So if you played it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But if not, if you do not like visual novels, you're not going to like this game. Like, just full stop. Don't go into this expecting an action game, an adventure game. It is a very, very, very linear game, even more so than like the Uncharted games, because it's a visual novel. So that I give that warning because I know so many people. I've recommended visual novels to people before, and I've told them they're visual novels, and they still walk away completely confused, right? So check it out if you like it. If you don't like visual novels, stay far away. It won't change your mind. Josh says TMNT Shredder's Revenge is like the only game I've seen do CRT filters well. Yes. And then the arcade filter in Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection is also really good. Like, they can be good. They definitely can. But too often, it's that fucking filter that emulators do now too, where it like smudges them. And they think that's what CRT, because like the thing with CRTs is that the pixels sort of bleed because of the light glow, right? And how the delay in the signal. But yeah, like nowadays they just throw this really ugly like smoothing filter on to make it all blend together, and it just looks like shit every single time. So we're not about that. We're not about that here. But yeah, that's Raincode. Moving on from Raincode, we had Hi-Fi Rush. Now, this game deserves all the props because it was a stealth release. It came from fucking Bethesda, which is like not the company you would expect this to come from. It's a rhythm action game, and it was just dropped for free on Game Pass, right? Like, and then Josh says, yeah, the X Legacy has that. I actually like it. Dude, I don't know how you stand that smudge filter. I can't stand it. Everything looks so bad. It looks a little better when it's applied to like 32-bit sprites, so like X4 and onward. But when you go like 16-bit and then especially 8-bit, things just go and they look terrible. So main props to Hi-Fi Rush. Like, I love action games. I love rhythm games. So this was like a complete, like this hit for me. This was almost like it was made directly for me. The gameplay is tight. The fact that, like, when your combo is low, you hear the music, but then as it starts picking up, you get like the lyrics and more extended bass part. Like, it's all so well crafted. If I had to have one complaint about this game, and I think everybody probably might be feeling the same way, especially if you're, a fan of this channel or Bounding or whatever. This art style is kind of off-putting. If you guys remember, there used to be this show called Kappa Mikey back in, like, when I was a kid. It was about like an American cartoon character who got a job in a Japanese cartoon, so he had to move over there, and it was sort of like an American parody of all things Japanese. Not like, oh, konnichiwa, like that kind of stuff, like the Adam Sessler thing. But they tried, but it was still very much like American take on anime. And that's what, like, I see all the design elements they're going for here. Everything just feels there's no cohesion to it. And everybody just looks a little too, I don't even know how to, like, look at their faces, their models. What am I trying to say here? The term that comes to mind is safe. Because they just look very blasé. Like, we see they're scrubbed down, edges sanded off versions of character designs we see all the time, right? Like, the black guy is like Barrett if all the edge was taken off. The girl is, and I forget their names because it's been so long, but what's her name? Like Cinnamon or something, or I don't remember. Yes, Shinkai, you remember Kappa Mikey and Hi Puffy Amiyumi. Yes. See, Amiyumi was a little better because it was all in Japan, blah blah blah. But yes, thank you. You remembered. Somebody remembered. But yeah, like the girl looks like Gwen Stacy from Spider-Verse. The guy looks like it's just a mashup of protagonist. He's got a robot arm, and he's got a scarf, and he's got the high top sneakers, and he's got the short brown hair, and he's got the rolled up sleeve hoodie. Like, it's weird because everything else is so tight. I don't know what happened with the art direction. It doesn't detract from the product. It's just something that I would have changed if I was in charge of this. Probably, if you guys know what I'm talking about, there's a game called Neon White that has a very similar sort of art style. And I think an art style like that a more cohesive art style like this. I'm pulling it up for you guys. No. A more cohesive art style like this, right? Like see how the character designs sort of mesh together. You can tell what's going on. There's a world to it. If it was something more like that, I think there would be nothing to stop this from being like a 10 out of 10. But to me personally, I cannot stand the art style. It's not terrible. It's just very like uninspired is how I would feel it. Joss says every character is the main character of a completely different game from a completely different developer, drawn by a completely different artist. Holy shit. I've never thought about it like that, but you are on fucking point. That is exactly what we're looking at. Damn, Josh, you got me. Snowbreak. What's Snowbreak, volume dealer? Wait, I know what Snowbreak is. It is... Are you talking about, like, it's like the mobile game, right? The shooter mobile game. I heard that was pretty good. Mobile games are getting better. I'm just gonna make a quick aside, but like I was gonna talk about Honkai Star Rail but then I decided not to because I didn't really have that much to say. But what I was going to say was shout out to Honkai Star Rail for like changing sort of, giving us something new in that mobile game space, giving us a huge quality product to the point where the gacha doesn't really bother me. It's a single player RPG, so you can still progress. It's turn based. I had a lot of fun with it when I was playing it with John Trent, but I haven't picked it up in a while. But I just wanted to give a shout out to the one MiHoYo game that's actually caught my attention for more than one play session. How is it? I have not had a chance to play Snowbreak yet, so definitely let me know how that is. It's obviously on my radar just because it's got cute anime girls, but that's where we are. So, next up on this list is Armored Core 6. Of course you guys knew this had to be on here. Dude, holy shit. So I used to play the Armored Core games when I was a kid. They were like defining for me. Armored Core 1, all this stuff. I love mecha. I love military stories. I love everything about this package fucking hit just perfectly. You have alternate endings, multiple branching story paths. You have mech customization down to like the paint on your kneecap joint. It is fantastic. It's got a great story too. This game should kind of define or like be enough to shut down everyone and let people know From Software is like probably top 3, if not top 2 developers working today, because they didn't just make a Dark Souls clone. They easily could have just brought that formula back and said, it's Dark Souls with robots, you'll all like it, and people would have loved it. Gaming press would have eaten it up. Twitch streamers would have been going at it. But the core fans, the people like me who have been with this franchise since the beginning, we would have been hyper disappointed. So thank God, right, that they were able to pull through and deliver just a solid, super solid video game. It is appropriately hard. It, like, I don't even really know, like, what praise I want. Like, the praise that comes to mind is it is a fucking video game, right? Like, it's got replayability, it's got branching paths and different play styles, customization, all of this stuff, and it's just all wrapped up into this one beautiful looking mecha package. And we need more things like this, more things that show a huge care for the product they're making. This thing isn't loaded up the ass with microtransactions. This thing isn't, there aren't 9,000 pieces of DLC coming. This is just they released a product and they said go. And it's a single, like, if you guys have any interest in mech simulators, mecha, military, whatever, try this game out. Even if you have to play it on the easiest difficulty mode just to, get used to it and access it, you will. Like, in this game, when you dash forward, if you're on the ground and there's like military in front of me, you just bowl through them. Like, you run over trucks, you run over tanks, because you're a mecha and the main fighting thing you got to fight is a mecha. Like, it's realistic little details like that make this package. Volume says, haven't played it yet, but it looks cool. I definitely recommend it. Tehillim said, Josh says, is there free roam? I got Ace Combat 7 after Top Gun and was disappointed the free roam was lame. Starts you in the air, can't land the plane or take off. I need more realism. So, no, there isn't a real, like, free roam map to go around, but the maps, like the level maps themselves are very big areas where you can navigate in a free roam sense there. Does that make any sense? You don't get the like sortie and the like coming back realism, but you do get to go, oh, am I gonna charge right up at the enemy, or am I gonna go around the mountain and hop up the service path and take them from behind? It's things like that. So there is realism. It's just not the sortie realism, which I like that too, Josh. Like when you're in flight simulators and you land back on the plane, my favorite thing. Let's see. Shinkai says, Bleach Brave Souls gave some excitement to Bleach fans for more than 5 years. Oh, that's the mobile game, right? Well, good news for like us Bleach fans. We're probably getting a brand new game. If you didn't see it, I wrote an article on Bounding, but a copyright has been filed for a new Bleach game, like a console PC game, not a mobile game. So we should be looking at something fun. Hopefully it's not just another fucking arena fighter like we get every other year from every other series. So who knows? Josh says, so free roam friendly, but no free roam. I mean, do we all need free roam? I'm kind of in that state where it's like, unless there's something in the world, I don't give a shit about free roam. Because they did that in Halo. Halo Infinite had an open world like overmap, and you would go to different bases in different places to pick up missions and whatnot. But that was it. There was nothing in the world for me to explore. It was just tedious 5 extra minutes I had to put on my radar to get to another mission. So I'm more okay with this style of game than here's a stupid open world with nothing in it. Because we get too many of those nowadays. I'm sick of open world. I don't need my Far Cries. I don't need my Dying Lights. I don't need my Assassin's Creed. I don't need any of that shit. Just give me levels. Let me play something. Tehillim says, I've been playing some Ninja Gaiden recently. Dude, I love Ninja Gaiden. Like that first, if you're talking about like the 3D ones, that was my game as a kid. Like when I got that for Xbox, I would come home every day after school, play it. I broke a controller, fighting, I forget who it is, but she's like the pink demon vampire lady thing, right? She, oh man, she was like, she frustrated me beyond everything. But that's Armored Core. I definitely think good things are going to come out of Armored Core, or if you check it out, you're going to love it. Get to it. What are you waiting for? From there, this is a game I haven't really had a chance to talk about, but I've referenced a lot. I'm a real big fan of Mega Man X Dive Offline. So, if you don't know, Mega Man X Dive Offline is essentially a crossover Mega Man game where you get to pick any number of characters available to you, which range from original characters like Rico that were made just for that game, to old school characters like Gate and Double, to variant characters like, you know, like New Year's Cinnamon or Swimsuit Layer. Everybody has their own different like techniques. There is a lot. If you're a Mega Man fan, this is just chock full of fan service. But it's not just fan service, it's also got like solid gameplay. You know, the levels, it's got well-designed levels, it's got replayability, it's got bosses, which, depending on how well you level up and play, may or may not be challenges. The biggest complaint I might give to this game is the fact that you can like level up really hard and make a lot of the like the bosses less challenging. You don't need to like pick the right weapon or dodge under the things, because you can just bowl through them if you get to that point. But seeing all the like love and care given to Mega Man, and like the plot is basically like you're the player and you have to go to old Mega Man levels because the internet data is being corrupted. So you end up meeting people like Zero, like Mega Man Zero or X and Lan and Mega Man EXE. It's just, it's like a happy place for me. You know, you get Mega Man action, you get to see all these other characters that we've wanted to play as throughout the years, right? Like, I've wanted to play as Gate, like that's pretty cool. I wanted to play as Vile, that's pretty rad. And so you get things like that. Like I can play as my wife, Roll Casket, in this game. Are you kidding me? Like I love that. So if you're a Mega Man fan, oh my God, Josh, were you making a 9/11 joke? You can just make those jokes out loud. We don't need to wait. I will make them freely. But yeah, if you like Mega Man, if it's not going to be, if you want like challenging, obviously go back and play the other games. But if you want a fun, solid adventure, like, and you want to like revisit old times and see new things and get just some Mega Man love in your life, because we don't get it anymore, definitely check out X Dive. Like I love this game. I keep picking it up. I don't think I would like I specifically highlight the offline version, because if I had to deal with the actual fucking gacha mechanics and all that stuff and the microtransactions from the mobile version, I would lose my fucking mind. But because things are way too expensive. The economy, the in-game economy is asshole. But because it's the offline version and more people are letting things out, or like, you know, more payouts, how do you say? It moves faster. It's more acceptable. You get to play as people you want to play as. You don't have to worry about like, oh, if I invest all of my stuff into base, I'm not going to be able to play as Proto Man EXE. Like, it's solid. If you like Mega Man characters, if you're into the lore, definitely check it out. I keep yelling at Josh to play this game. He will not play it. I don't know why. Zero says what I want is an actual Mega Man X game, and yeah, I've had to spend the last 6 months convincing Josh of this, but it's not happening. Like, we're never getting another proper Mega Man game. I don't know why. I don't have a reason for you. It's not even like a culture war thing or a money thing. It's just, I don't know why they don't want to use him. They'll use him for marketing and everything. Like the latest Teppen expansion, the mobile card game, like I play it. Everybody should play it. It's fantastic. But you know me. It's a card game. I'm going to play it. It's a Capcom themed card game. Of course I'm going to play it. But like the latest set is based off of Mega Man Zero, right? So I just want some Mega love. Like, this is his 35th birthday this year, and they didn't do anything for it. And it's just like, all right, cool. At least X Dive, like the people who wrote X Dive and programmed X Dive cared and like gave us cool designs and all this stuff. Talem says, did you watch the Mega Man Fully Charged series? The story was surprisingly good, and they did a comic to the series too. I've watched like 2 or 3 episodes of it. I remember, like, here's my main thoughts on it. The main takeaway I have from that show is that I'm always surprised at how Mega Man's design is not awful. It's not great. Like, it's a very Americanized Mega Man design. Here, I'll pull it up for the viewers. Mega Man fully charged. Ugh. He doesn't look great though. Like it's not, again, it's not a great design. Oh, come on, can we look at that one? Oh, well, no. But I can zoom in and give you a fuzzy version of it. But see, like, it's not terrible, but it is a little busy. They had something there. It's kind of what I take away from Mega Man. But in the episodes I did see, I was sort of put off, and I only saw some early episodes, so I'm not making a full judgment, but I was sort of put off by just a little too basic for me, a little too generic, and yeah, so I don't know what like the overarching plot is. I just know that like what I saw was a little too like Paw Patrol-y for me, and so I was like, I don't know. I have it. I need to watch it fully all the way through. Maybe I'll give it a watch just for you, Tahillim. But you know, honestly, a rec from you is like I will take that rec. That means something. I will use it. Let's see. Tahillim says Capcom likes milking Street Fighter, Resident Evil, and Monster Hunter. They're fucking two of these franchises with ESG stuff. Yeah, like they'll milk everything. They just won't ever give us a new game. And honestly, like in the current atmosphere, I'm kind of okay with Mega Man being left alone. Josh says X-Dive is not on Mac or Switch. Can't play it. I keep forgetting that. That's so stupid. I keep like it should be a Steam game or a Switch game. It makes sense. It's just like with Ninja Warriors, right? It's a perfect pick up and player, but for some reason they just don't want to do it. Zero says I hate this cartoon so bad. Shinkai says the design reminds me of that Astro Boy movie with Nicolas Cage. Look, I remember that movie. It's not bad, but I also know exactly what you're talking about. But yeah, like the design's not terrible. It could have been worse. Is sort of how I appraise that design. It could have been a lot worse. But that is what game were we even talking about? Oh yeah, X-Dive. So if you're a Mega fan, definitely check out X-Dive. You will not be disappointed. It is fantastic. So now we're coming in close. I've only got 2 games left, but my second game of the year, and I don't know if this really counts, but I still just want to bring attention to it. The Battle Network Legacy Collection. I mentioned it earlier, but guys, I love this series. This is like a defining series to me. You can see like that digital aesthetic I've kind of taken with me in everything I do. Obviously, like look at my backgrounds, my branding. I love these characters. I grew up with this incarnation of Mega Man, or like he was the fresh one when I was like 11 when this one came out. So he was like the new one. He was the hot stuff. But you get 6 games, I think 8 total because it has like double versions of 2 of them. They're just really good games. And again, they didn't edit it. Nothing is censored in this collection. That's very rare nowadays. So I think that alone is worth supporting. I don't think you need me to tell you about the game itself. 6x6 grid gameplay, card battle system, which I'm going to be obsessed with. But if you've ever had any interest in checking out the Mega Man Battle Network series, grab this collection. It will give you so much entertainment. It'll give you so much challenge, so much fun. And I can't sing this series praises enough. And it's sad we're never going to get another one of these, but it is what it is. Tahillim says, Mega Man Fully Charged series isn't a perfect series, but it's a fun series. And see, that's enough for me. That's enough for me to keep giving it a chance. Because as long as it's fun and I can enjoy myself, absolutely nothing wrong with that, right? So I definitely might have to revisit that. But yeah, guys, Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection, I 4,000% say, like, go check these out. You get some of the best, coolest designs, some of the best gameplay systems. The plots are really fun too. A lot of I don't know. I love these games. Please play them. Grab the collection. Especially, like, even if you're just casually interested, I think sending a message of support to releases that don't go overboard and censor everything is something we've got to send out, right? So thank you, Capcom, for not changing this. Keeping the Ayo, is that some chicken? Ayo, or no, Ayo, you still drinking out your mama's tit? Like those like jive talk things. Like, thank you so much for all that. So check out this collection. It's one of the best. I mean, I'm physically holding it. As always, guys, remember, buy physical. Buy your media physical, because this one especially, because for some reason they like on the digital version it's split into 2 different apps, like volume 1 and volume 2. Who knows? But right here, it's all ready for you in the palm of your hand. So And yes, I do recommend what Josh is saying. Get yourself Mega Man Zero Legacy Collection and play ZX. Awful maps is what we're all about. Yeah, if you guys don't know, those games have just a nightmare map like situation. I don't even know how to describe it. I think Josh knows that I can't describe it properly in this like 30-second block. But if we ever get to the Mega Man Zero series in like full detail, we will definitely discuss that. Don't worry, because it sucks. And to that point, in Mega Man Battle Network 1 in this game, the maps are ass. They are hard to navigate. There's no landmarks to like to set you in. Yeah, so yeah, no, like the maps are super hard to navigate. You will not find your way around. You need to go find guides, but it's totally worth it. It ends after 1, so like 2 through 6 and everything is fine. But here, don't stress yourself out. Zero says, I mean, the X collections are on my Steam wish list. Want to give me a late Christmas gift? Hey, are we Steam friends? If not, yes, I will. I absolutely will. Yeah, Josh says, not even Capcom could describe the maps. So, with that, my game of the year. This is probably no surprise, but it's Zelda. It's Tears of the Kingdom. Like, this game changed the game. From its, like, story mechanics, to its gameplay, just to its presentation. There's nothing I can say about Zelda that hasn't been said by literally everybody, except for the fact that I love this game. This game brought back that old school version of what do you call it? Like it brought back old school video game playing where like, you know, back in the day you would go play a video game and you'd go run to a friend like, oh man, I did this last night. Did you see that? And like, oh no way. But I was able to do that. Like I talk with Josh about this game all the time. Like, especially when it came out and we were playing it whenever we had free time, it was like, oh, did you find this treasure yet? No, but did you try this combination? No, oh my gosh. Like, it's that sense of like interconnected shared joy that this game brought back. And then combine it with just so much to do. And, you know, I was talking about empty open worlds. This is not one of them. There are things to do. You find hidden passages everywhere. You find quests everywhere. Everything links together, whether you know about it or not, right? Like, oh, I found a random well sitting here in this field. Okay, I explored it, whatever. Turns out it's part of a quest that you get later on, right? It's not just there. Like, that's what I mean. Everything matters in that game. You're never wasting time unless you're, like, doing something stupid, like trying to set a record for shield boarding downhill. The debates are still raging. I mean, even in my own head, whether I like weapon durability or not. But honestly, I can say that everything in this game was a solid 100% improvement over the last game. And like, I loved Ganon's design. Like that opening cutscene is incredible. I think if I'd have made one change, it's in that opening cutscene when Link is like reaching for Zelda, he misses her. And that's why, like, she falls away into the pit. I would have had her, because he's reaching out with his, like, damaged hand. I would have had him grab, and then, like, his hand disintegrates, and that's why she, like, falls. But, and yes, Shinkai, I definitely heard that pun, that everything links together. And I was like, oh, man, do I draw attention to it, or do I just move on? Oh, boy, those guys are going insane. Josh says... yeah, Zero says, the real game of the year, fuck that bear sex game. Josh says, the fact that this game made Breath of the Wild look like a beta test demo. It did. Like, everything in this game looked like it was just a setup, a test for that. Yeah, so, right, Volume, I hear them, and my sister's not helping, and it doesn't matter, because you know what? This is game of the year. Right? And I think that this is probably a good place for us to end tonight. You have my recommendations for video games. Obviously, we'll probably talk there's movie talk, movies, video games, anime, all that fun stuff. There are more shows and topics and discussions to be had, but this is what I like. We wanted to talk about video games. We talked about video games, so I'm glad we got to. But yeah, every game that I just talked about comes with a freaking huge recommendation from somebody who just loves video games to their core. You will not be disappointed picking up any one of these. I promise you that. So with that, my friends, I think, oh no, that's the wrong screen. Oh, that's the wrong screen. Yes, guys, I think with that, it is time for us to wind down, especially because I got to go take care of whatever the hell is happening back there. Genuinely don't know. But I want to thank everybody for stopping by the stream tonight. Obviously, Shinkai, Josh, Zero, Tehillim, Dante was here for a little bit earlier. I know we had Jose was in at the beginning. Volume says, can you stream games? Honestly, if there is a demand, I will gladly stream games. I used to stream games a little bit back on Twitch, but I got like 0 viewers at all times. So if there's interest, I will definitely start bringing back regular game streams because I want to share these things with you guys, like 100%. Now, all right, 1 second. I'm going to yell. Oh, I don't need, of course, like the second I'm going to yell at them, they stop doing whatever they're doing, right? But with all that, yeah, Volume, I've got Michael Vick's banging on the door. I got to go. Like, we need to get this rolling. But with all that said, guys, I want to thank everybody for showing up. Thank you for sticking with me through my ranting about localizers and video games. It brings me so much joy just to be able to talk to you guys every Friday night. I look forward to it every week. Obviously, if you want more of me, you can find me on Twitter at KabutoWriterMav. You can find me, if you want to see more of me live, I will be on the Bounding Into Comics 01 stream on Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time with Cider Josh and our boy Society Jacob. You can, and of course, next week, same Mav time, same Mav channel for another episode of The Good, the Mav, the Ugly. Obviously, as always, who knows what the topic's going to be? It always sort of gets decided right before the show goes up. So tune in to see what we talk about. With all that said, though, I want to wish everybody a happy new year. 2023 is done. This garbage year is over. Let's look forward. Let's kick 2024's ass. Let's not let it get over us at all. No, Volume, how dare you? You will not hear those. I will mute before that happens. But as always, we have your last call for last minute news. And in keeping with tradition, I think it's time to be a little festive.
新年明けまして
おめでとうございます。
おめでとうございます。
いや、のんきに新年を祝ってる場合か。ザイアが我が社を買収しようとしてるんだぞ。
ザイアエンタープライズ、世界中で事業を拡大する多国籍テクノロジー企業で、その日本支社であるザイアエンタープライズジャパンの社長が天津貝、
秘伝インテリジェンスに対し TOB を宣言いたします。
ザイアにうちの会社を渡さないよ。それが新年の俺の新年だ。はい、ありがとうございます。
よ、初笑い。
いや、笑えないよ。ザイアの買収にどう
Yes, guys, a New Year's greeting from President Arudo. If you haven't watched it yet, go watch Kamen Rider 01. I know if Tehil or if Meteor Advocate Timon ends up watching this in the replay, he's going to be upset because he doesn't like it. But it's fantastic. I love the series. I'm glad that we could sign off this year with Arudo and I. And guys, with that, I will catch you later.